right, good evening, Worlds Collide community, and welcome to a very exciting Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer race between Kigalus and Fly Eagles Fly 72. We are in the losers bracket of the Moogle's first tournament, so we have two runners fighting for their lives here in the final phase of the MFT. I'm Fantastodon, and joining me in the virtual commentator's booth is Saberwolf. Saber, what do we have tonight?
Oh, we have a pretty good race tonight for you all. We actually have Kigalus versus Fly Eagles Fly. Now, they went down last week. Fly Eagles Fly lost to Gar, so Gar moved on to the second round there. And Kigalus lost to Golden Shocker. We saw them race, I believe it was Saturday night, late night Saturday night. So both of them unfortunately losing. They'll drop down to this losers bracket. And don't forget, we also got more action later on in the week, Thursday and Saturday. We got some more races for you all, so stay tuned for those.
Yes, indeed. It is going to be an action-packed week on Worlds Collide Twitch. As you mentioned, many races as we are wrapping up the very exciting, very dramatic, very lengthy, and very fun Moogle's first tournament. So many fresh faces here in the Worlds Collide community. We will be featuring two of them this evening, and it should be a fun one.
Yep, Kigalus and Fly Eagles Fly. Both races are ready to go. We're going to give a 1 minute countdown for them now. If you want to talk to people about what the Moogle's first seed is and like that. We'll get these guys ready to go here.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's a sort of a twist on what is generally considered the standard race flag set these days. As you can see, our runners will be looking for 6 characters and 9 espers to unlock Final Kefka, the final boss of any Worlds Collide seed. They also have the option of unlocking the KT Skip by recruiting either 9 characters or 12 espers. And they also have a few optional fun objectives, one of which being perform in the opera for a random high-tier item. There are a few other tweaks in MFT seeds compared to quote-unquote standard races. One is, I believe, espers can be used an unlimited number of times. The Ultima spell is available, so we might get to see some fun explodey blue bubbles later on in the seed. And a few other quality-of-life things to make the seeds a little more welcoming to newer players, though, of course, at this point in the MFT, both Kigalus and Fly Eagles Fly have raced quite a few seeds and are certainly not beginners anymore. Chat calling for the opera performance. Would love to see an opera performance this evening. Such a fun, unique scene in FF6. One of the things that really sticks in your memory when you play this game. So would love to see a performance of that this evening. Fingers crossed, but we might not, because both these runners want to win. This is a winner-go-home race, and we are kicking it off now with Gao, Terra, and Umaro. Gao with the yikes combo of control and sketch.
Oh,
so
jeez.
he will not going to do fun early on.
Oh.
Gao, you know, he's a real feast or famine character. Sometimes he can be awesome. Sometimes it's, you know, blitz, X-Magic, throw, Magitech, whatever. And sometimes it's control sketch. So could be a challenging start as we see both runners heading to the Imperial base to loot the very treasure-rich basement and, of course, go on to the sealed cave.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best places to get a bunch of items really fast. You get a hero ring, I see elixirs, warp stones. Pearl rod would be good if you can break down to somebody. Actually got 2 hero rings.
Yeah, double hero rings and a few rods.
That's not bad. Not bad. Of course, the rest of this is actually a free check, though, so. With some more treasure, too.
I gotta be one of the, if not the most treasure-rich checks in Worlds Collide. I mean, there are, I think, 13 chests just in the Imperial basement, and then however many there are in the Cave of the Seals Gate. Hey, a Ragnarok sword. That is a very welcome find early on.
Very much so. Giggles is doing the little trick there where if you push right along the bridge there, it will let you cross it as soon as it switches over. Interesting enough, in the Pixel Remaster, the remake of the game that just came out, you cannot do that trick in that game. They actually fixed that bug.
Interesting.
I tried it and I died miserably, and I was like, oh, okay, that does not work anymore.
Also finding a Blizzard Orb, which may be useful with a Yeti in the party. Blizzard Orb does not do... Well, it does area of effect damage, which can be very useful, particularly for early grind fights. But yeah, definitely want to slap that Ragnarok on Terra. Ragnarok, the second best sword in the game. And what a sword it is. A very, very welcome find. As Giggle is taking an early fight already.
Ooh, not a very good one, though. This is not a good fight, especially with the abilities we have. They're disposable.
Yeah, breaking out Sketch. That is not going to do much to a full health Gao.
Now we get a proc, though, off the Ragnarok, which is Flare. Yeah, the problem is with the...
Not happy to get sneezed. Ooh, especially for Terra, who is the most capable member of the party. You definitely want her getting some experience early on.
Oh, that's a reset?
Ouch. That is unfortunate. That is not a free random encounter. That's one of the tricky ones, and we see why.
Okay, he did save in that room. Okay, good.
Setback, a smart save. Yes, indeed.
I got scared there. I was like, oh god, did they reset the beginning of the game? But no. Oh, it does pick up the hidden items, though. Or one of the hidden items, I guess. Doesn't go for the chest.
I did not know that existed until I started watching Worlds Collide races.
You're welcome. I do those all the time. Upper left is a Visa Edge. Lower left is an elixir. You go to the chest, and then behind the chest is 2,000 gold pieces. That's my girl. My girl is found, Celeste.
A very, very welcome addition to the party. Celeste and Terra, two very, very powerful characters. All of the ladies of Final Fantasy VI are top-tier characters, and having two of them this early on is very exciting. A lore Celes at that. So hopefully she's got some good ones and can help out what can be a very treacherous early game in any Worlds Collide seed.
Celeste with lore, interestingly enough.
Yeah, hopefully she's got some good ones.
Yeah. We're looking for Grand Train, obviously, because that's the best lore. Although Clean Sweep would be a decent one, too. Anything AoE damaging would be nice, especially with this lineup that we have for abilities.
Yeah, you've got Quasar, you've got Blowfish. There are a few good ones.
Yeah, Blowfish is a good one early game because that deals 1,000 damage straight. And for right now, when you saw some of the fights that we took now, some of our characters are only doing about 30 to 80 damage right now. So 1,000 damage is a big difference.
Yeah,
that's a mega
lifesaver early on. Nice to find.
Warp stones in the weapon shop. Okay. Rando's got a rando sometime.
They're a welcome find wherever they are.
I do like this check. I do like going to Elbrook because it is one of the high congestion treasure chest towns. This one and Thasma are the two best ones, two other ones to go to, besides, of course, South Figaro. And those are Dargan boots.
Yeah, Fly Eagles 5 picking up the first Esper of this seed, paying the Send Thief for a piece of magic sight. So I'll be excited to see what that is. Always nice to have an Esper or two in your inventory before you start leveling up in case the level of rewards are useful.
I like that little progression there. He went to Tizen and immediately went just north of that to South Figaro to continue looting. That was a pretty good swing progression there.
Yeah, well, we are in the Elite Eight of the Moogle's first tournament, so both of these racers have won several races already, have, I'm sure, learned a ton about this Worlds Collide randomizer that we all love, and are definitely showing it in this race right now.
Yeah, the early parts of this series, they could have mentors walk through the game with them, but now at this stage of the game, they're in the finals, they are on their own. So they're taking everything they've learned and are now applying it, like I said. So so far, pretty good.
Yeah, Fly Eagle Fly doing the bucket check in the lower floor of this South Figaro house.
The Ramu Esper there on the Tizen Thief. Okay. Ooh, Super Balls. And dried meat.
Super Balls and dried meat, yes indeed.
That's all you need to have for a good time. Super Balls and dried meat, you know? That's a party right there. At least for Gao.
It's some kind of party. It's a Gao party, and when Gao is in the party, you definitely want to find dried meat as soon as you can, so that is a nice find for Eagles.
Moogle suit. It's not too bad. It's not a great item, but I've been finding lately armor is very hard to come by lately in any racing I've been doing lately. So,
Yeah, Moogle suit is a decent piece of armor. Also, of course, turns anyone who's wearing it into a Moogle, so it can be a little confusing if you already have Mog in the party and suddenly you've got two Moogles. But other than that, fun visual addition. It's yeah, pretty average.
That would be nice
Better
to
have it than not have it, I suppose.
It would be nice to have an Oops All Moogles. Everybody starts with a Moogle suit and can equip it.
It's not a bad idea. Fly Eagles Fly now heading down to the basement of South Figaro. Gonna check out the sub basement first, see what's down there. Of course, we'll be doing Celeste's. Ooh, Minerva. Hello. Now there's a piece of armor.
And $13K to buy some other stuff. There we go.
Yeah. There's treasure in the basement. Also
Ragnarok.
finds the Ragnarok Esper. So up to 2 already early on in this seed.
Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Nicholas, what's that?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, go mode. We're not in go mode yet there, GB Matt. By the way, GB, that's not Green Bay, is it?
Making another football reference?
Yeah, I know. Lol, no. Okay, good. Because I was going to make a Zapped reference. More shopping. Ooh, fire rods. Not getting them, though.
Yeah, South Figaro, pretty stacked Figaro so far. Has Minerva, also has a red jacket down there, fire rods for sale. These are very nice early game finds. And a merit award, which you can do fun things with, if you are so inclined.
Hey, all I know is us Mats gotta stick together, that's all. Gigloss is going to go down to the basement as well, find that Minerva and the Ragnarok Esper here in a minute. Well, looks like Fly is going to retool their group. Going to drop the Yeti to do the dried meat Gao check.
Yeah, keeping Gao, dropping the Yeti, which you could make an argument for who you'd want your third-party member to be in this situation. Obviously, Umaro permanently berserked. The Yeti does what he pleases, can never control him, which can be frustrating and can get you into trouble. But then on the other hand, you have controlled Sketch Gao, who doesn't really do much of anything either.
And taking this check very early, though, we're going to only see Lobos, as we control the Lobo, apparently.
Yeah, I love taking on the Velt check before you've done any random encounters, because, as you said, the only thing that appears will be a very easy Lobo fight.
There he goes. Ooh, we found Locke. So I think the Yeti is
a treasure hunter joining the team.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely not going to see the Yeti anymore.
Probably not.
Celeste feeding her boyfriend because if she's apparently hungry. And we got a lock with Morph.
Okay. Got Morph, had some decent magic power. As Eagles is now equipping his party.
Optimizing the equipment for Gao added nothing, so Gao is completely naked right now on gear. Ramu having Cure 2, Pearl, and, well, Quake's not going to be very helpful. Cure 3 and Mute, that's going to be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 very useful spells. Kiglis, meanwhile, taking a different tack, deciding to take on the Opera House. Not on stage, not giving us a performance, but instead we'll be heading up to the rafters to take in a few fixed encounters and earn some early levels, those crucial early levels. And we'll see what boss lies at the end of that.
Actually kicking out Gao, because Gao does not have any decent usable abilities, so we're actually going to have the Yeti in the group. But to mention the fact that Gao has no equipment to wear, while the Yetis has a bone club and snow muffler, so I guess we're going to go with Yeti because he actually can do stuff.
I like that play. Gao is contributing basically nothing.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, is a Yeti better than nothing? I think so. And Fly Eagles Fly is making that call as well. And now heading into the Serpent Trench.
Leaving the Doom Darts on the Yeti, that's interesting. Apparently he did some dartboarding in his days in the caves, I guess, with Mog.
He had a lot of free time, Umaro, before joining up with the squad.
Oh, here's an interesting question that I actually don't know. Maybe some of the chat knows. Does Black Belt True Knight trigger on a True Knight proc?
As in, can you...
In other words, when you proc the True Knight to protect...
counterattack.
Yes.
When guarding someone.
Wow!
True Knight. Oh.
Master Pug! Hello.
That's no fun.
No. Oh, but we do have Blizzard Orb on Yeti. That's another reason why we should probably have him on the group.
Yeah, picked up that Blizzard Orb early. And as we see, it's doing work now.
Oof. Yeah,
does Master Pug reward experience?
I don't think so. No, don't use Pearl. That heals him. Oh, well, all that work's gonna be undone now. Oh no, it did damage. I thought it was. Wow. Okay, I thought he healed off Pearl because he uses Pearl attacks. Oh, wasting a potion there.
Yeah, I guess Master Pug doesn't share the protections of normal pugs.
And apparently channeling his inner Magimaster by changing his weakness.
Yeah, Master Pug, not a fun fight, not a particularly fast fight, especially not with these levels.
No, he has a lot of HP.
Yeah, rely on Umaro and the Ragnarok swinging Terra to get the job done. Meanwhile, Giggle is finding much easier encounters in the rafters of the Opera House.
Ooh, that's a wild wind coming out from Pug Master. I didn't know he could use that.
Yikes, breaking out the Magicite just to deal some damage, but with the wall change, there's no way of knowing which element will affect him.
Yeah, I mean, we can even break our Thunder Rod we got in our inventory, because we just don't know.
Well, you know, Moogle's first tournament, it's all about learning things, growing as a player, and I think Fly Eagles Fly will learn something from this fight that he will not forget.
Well, we did learn that he's actually weak to thunder right now, so here comes another wall change, apparently.
Yeah, but as Eagles struggles with this pseudo boss fight, we are about to see our first actual boss fight of the seed on Kigulus' screen, as he is now center stage of the Opera House. Eagles fly in real trouble, though.
Oh, jeez, in for it. Also, not a very easy fight to fight here, unless we do have a Blizzard Orb equipped to Yeti here. That might help a little bit, but when it switches over to Shiva, it's not going to be an easy fight.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. This is, I think, basically going to be the Umaro show. I don't think Kigulus really has the... Well, obviously doesn't have any ice magic.
Oh!
Does have those flare procs, so we'll be doing some non-elemental damage.
Yeah, coming from Terra was a decent magic power pool. I think she's like the second or third highest in the game. So it should be pretty good there.
Yeah, that is a big proc.
But here's the problem on Fly Eagle's Fly side. He could run into more Master Pugs under this water. That's the scary thing. Right now, I would just be holding down R and L right now.
Yeah, Fly Eagles Fly, either unaware that you can run from these battles or determined to stick it out, is bringing party members back up. It's felt like he's committed so much to this fight already, wants to see it through, but as chat mentioned, will be very disappointed in the rewards, or lack thereof, upon beating this encounter.
Yeah, it's just a Guardian, isn't it, off this?
If it's the same as the chest, yeah, it'll be the Gradius and...
Oh, the Gradius, yeah.
Magic points and no experience. Meanwhile, Kigulus is also in a difficult battle at the moment, relying basically on Umaro and flare procs from the Ragnarok to get this done.
Hey! It's a dead pug.
Hey, alright! Pug down.
Well, the party cannot escape from this. Oh, he can't escape from that fight. Never mind. Hard to run from. Party cannot escape. Oh. Oh, not that this one's much better.
Yeah, another tricky one. This one does have some undead enemies, so as we see, yeah, Eagles immediately reaching for those Phoenix Downs. Kigulus, meanwhile, did take down Ifrit and Shiva. We'll get not a character as a reward.
Instead of Celeste being possessed instead, apparently. Oh, another Ragnarok.
Another Ragnarok sword, okay.
So the ladies have a matching set of swords now.
That can do serious work. As Kigulus is heading to, looks like Zozo next. Another one of Terra's checks, one of my favorite areas of the game. Has some banging music, has some fun urban parkour action.
Interesting thing of the Song of Zozo, the blue jazzy thing, that was actually used in my college theater show. The beginning of Act 2, We actually played the song in the background. It worked.
Nice.
It was pretty cool.
It's a great track. What's not to like?
Yep.
Fly Eagles Fly gets that encounter done with less trouble than Master Pug, but that's not saying much. Still had some work to do there. This has been a pretty rude trench thus far.
Yeah, luckily he's taken the less battles path, and that's only been 2 fights. They still have another, 2 or 3 more to go.
Well, if you can make it through, the experience will obviously be a huge boon.
One through the trench, one through the rain. Both of our runners, I guess, getting really wet. This is a moist seed. I said it. Sorry, guys.
Anyway.
I haven't had much sleep.
Kegela's about to take on a second boss fight, and it's
Hey.
Ultros.
The Opera
Opera
Ultros.
House Ultros, as a matter of fact.
We were just there.
And Ultros, always a welcome sight. One, because he's such a likable fella, and two, because he's a very easy boss, especially with these dual Ragnaroks. But Kegela's probably hoping for a party member, because as we see, this Gao is just taking up space.
Interesting play by Kegela doing the sketch there. That only works on Ultros 3, not Ultros 2.
Right. Well, it works to instantly end the fight.
Right, on Ultros 3.
So, should
Sabin.
note that, hey, Sabin, all right.
A dancing bear.
It's better than Control Sketch Gao. I don't think we'll be seeing Gao again this
We
game.
need to warp, bud. I guess you just wanted to leave that room for us.
But Sabin, always a welcome sight in any Worlds Collide seat. Obviously has a ton of checks. Has some pretty good stats.
More undead in the underwater here. Must be pirates or something.
Yeah, and no Revivifies to do it easily, but it looks like at this point, Fly Eagles Fly has earned enough experience from those Serpent Trench encounters to deal with the final one without too much fuss, and will be very happy to be out of that underwater section.
Crusader Magicite.
Another Esper. As Kegela's going straight to World of Ruin Zen for another free check. Also very smartly taking the free heal at the inn. Love that play. Another thing I didn't know about until I started playing Worlds Collide.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with this, like,
No
doing
mufflers.
too many... You gotta be careful with doing too many free checks here, especially with the levels and all, and the combat lack thereof we've had with this party. You push the levels too high above what you're currently sitting at, you're gonna run into some problems, so... Might want to ease off these, free checks here, as we do find an ice shield, though.
Ice Shield, always a welcome find, as all
Tiger
elemental
Mask.
shields are. And worth pointing out that Kegela's did do the Opera House, so does have a few fights
That is
under
true.
his belt. Looks like the party's around level 16. So probably not too far behind the curve, if at all. Opting not to take any monsters in a box.
Has anybody ever asked how the kid got up there on top of the mantle? Like, how did he climb on top of the
Yeah, that's a good
fireplace?
question.
Like, really? Well, that was a soldier holding up the building there, so we know it's not another character. We're going to get a rewarded with an Esper or item off of this. As Eagles is going to head to their Opera House to get some, apparently to get some more levels under their belt.
Yeah, well, Eagles will be very happy to see some easier random encounters than the ones that he just dealt with in the Serpent Trench, as Kegela's finds Fenrir, the Great Wolf, and what a useful Esper that is, especially for the late game, for the oh-so important Calmness protection.
And Tizen Thief and the World of Ruin is about 40,000 gold more than the World of Balance version. So Kegela's is gonna go back to the World of Balance to buy that version.
Yeah, that's pretty steep. I don't know why prices go up after the end of the world. Sounds like a profiteer to me.
Kids will find a way, yes. If they are a climber, that is very true. More Mutant Cure 2s off of these Espers. I guess it's Mutant Cure. No real offensive combat except for, I think Pearl was in one of them.
Yeah, getting a lot of white and gray spells. Very useful spells, but yeah, as you mentioned, no big combat spells. I guess Pearl, but Pearl is pretty slow. You really want to, find a Fire 3 or something like that.
I was going to ask if Rosa
Or, of course,
rolled
an
this
Ultima as
seed.
well.
The Final Fantasy
What's
IV's
that?
Rosa rolled this seed? Like, seriously. Because even Pearl is a white magic spell from her world.
That's true. Meanwhile, Kigalus making the soundtrack plays, and I love to see it, from Zozo to another place that has some slapping music. It is the Magitech Factory, another one of Cells' checks. Has 3 possible checks. You always have the option of warping out at any point, but we'll see how deep into the factory Kigalus goes.
I would pump up this track on the Magitech facility if it wasn't for the fact that Eagles is in the Opera House. If it was anywhere but the Opera House, I would do it. Yes, there's a certain point you can. That's when you commit to the 3rd check. But you can nope out after the first 2 checks. As long as you don't enter the room after the second one, rather.
Yes, but a helpful clarification there.
By the duck,
will
who's
see.
going to be commentating on Thursday.
Oh, excellent. So at this point, Fly Eagles Fly has not seen a boss yet. And Kigalus is on to yet another, and it is Ghost Train, the spookiest boss.
Yeah, no blitz. We're not going to see any suplexing here, but Revivify coming from Celeste is going to instantly kill it.
Poof. Love it when you can deal with undead bosses the way the designers intended.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Did they intend for this to be possible? I don't know. It's often turned off in standard race seeds, but for MFT, you can deal with undead bosses the way you deal with undead enemies, and as we see, it is a no fuss, no muss solution.
Yeah, still haven't learned any good spells yet there, Eagles, unfortunately. Plus, Lord has, might have some water.
Well, the Blizzard Orb putting in work on Fly Eagles 5 screen, as we saw Umara doing over 3,000 damage.
Yeah, those early levels from the Serpent Trench and the fights going into this battle are really coming to fruition here.
Yeah, I think the Yeti is going to be the MVP of this fight for Eagles.
Ooh, Fire Rod. Hey, a lot faster than what a Kigalus did.
Hey, always Betty on Yeti.
Oh, Senor Behemoth. But we did get a Fire Rod right before this fight. So that's going to help dig into this health pool. And yeah, I believe we learned Pearl, which is going to be weak to when he gets skinned. So should be an okay fight.
When Behemoth goes to the second phase, you'll be able to revivify it again.
That is true.
It is another undead boss.
Should after this proc. Ooh, math check here on the party. Passing it.
All right. Avoids that attack. Gets to the second phase. And immediately reaches for the stack of revivifies to take care of this undead boss.
Yeah, Celeste the Exorcist, apparently.
And we're seeing some fun divergence as we are half an hour into this elimination match. As Eagles picking up Locke, heading in Locke's direction. Kigalus finding Sabin instead, and taking a very different direction. So, be interesting to see when, if ever, our runners' paths overlap, as we do see that Esper does have Fire 3 on Kigalus' screen, so a very welcome find.
Yeah, we've had Locke for a while. We could have done Locke's free check in the Curse Shield. Like a while ago. Shoot.
That's true.
Yeah, I just realized that's a lot of wasted time there if the shield's like on a low number. Ooh, wasted. This is gonna be a long check though, unfortunately.
Oh boy, the piranhas. A random amount of time between, I think, 10 and 30 seconds, something like that. Back in my day when I started playing Worlds Collide,
oh god,
the timer
here
was
we go.
30 to 90, and we liked it. But kids these days, no attention span. But,
tell us what you
obviously
did,
these piranhas
Grandpa
not-
Fantastodon.
You know what? It was so long ago that the Atma weapon hadn't been fixed. So it was just a useless lightsaber. Now, of course, it is one of the best weapons in the game.
Oh, yeah, another good question. It must be just because of my sleep deprivation, I guess. I don't know. If Setzer used GP Rain on Scrooge McDuck, would he be immune to it? We have another Ultros fight.
Crimson money, it'd be. Hey, there's a boy. Look at that big, beautiful smile.
Now we could use Sketch.
That's true, though. Of course, keep in mind if you sketch Ultras 3, you don't get any experience rewards.
That is true.
Sorry, chat asking a question about the Atma weapon. It still functions the same way that it does in the vanilla game, except the level requirement or the amount that level impacts the formula has been doubled. So in the vanilla game, the Atma weapon doesn't come fully online until you are level 64. But no one gets to level 64 in a standard Worlds Collide race, so the developers changed that to 32. So now, once you hit 32, the Atma weapon is a extremely effective weapon, and one of the top-tier choices for pairing with the Offering, or really just doing damage in general.
I just want to point out, Kigless has Merton strats online 32 minutes into the race.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fenrir's got Merton. Oh, baby.
Oh. Wow. Okay, so this race accelerated considerably in the last 2 seconds.
Yeah, as we see Fly Eagles fly, working through the Match Tech Factory. Kiglos about to take a ride on the Phantom Train. And yeah, it must be said that Kiglos' party looking in very good shape right now.
And we find a Murder Child. Interesting. Raging Murder Child with 48 magic power. I'm going to say no to that. I mean, we're already...
Interesting.
I mean, the weakest character in the party has already learned Merton. So why add a lower leveled realm, I guess, at this point? I mean, I know she has more magic power and all, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I like Kiglos' play here. I mean, at a certain point, you know, it doesn't matter how good a new party member might be when the party you have is already good enough to take on every boss that Kiglos has faced thus far. Fly Eagles Fly finding a Flame Shield, by the way. I'm not sure if Kiglos picked that up as well.
No, because he did not. No, because he didn't do all the extra chests here. So yeah, Eagles will be in a good position for that too.
For Eagles,
yeah. This is shaping up to this. Yeah, this seed accelerated considerably. We might be looking at like a 120, 130 here.
Yeah, well, looking at the requirements right now, Kiglos has 6 characters, has 5 espers, so is well on their way to the required 6 and 9. And for Fly Eagles Fly, the lock checks have not rewarded any characters as yet, so may have to retrace some of the steps that Kiglos has taken thus far.
Kiglos can't remember which chest is the trap chest, so it's gonna of the last 2, so he's just gonna ignore that one. I get confused sometimes on that one too.
There's a lot to keep track of in Worlds Collide. Final Fantasy VI, not an easy game, and Worlds Fly doesn't make it any easier, especially
Oh,
when you're racing for your tournament life, as Kiggle is taking on Guardian.
yeah, Guardian actually using those mech legs and chasing him down the tracks here through the forest.
Oh, Merton Strat.
Yep. Oh, Thunder Rod. That's going to do a heck of a lot more damage.
Oh yeah, Guardian as a machine is weak to lightning damage.
Next big hit should probably do it here.
As Fly Eagles Fly is taking on Sunyor Behemoth. Doing a quick cure to keep Celis up. As we see those double Ragnaroks doing work, as is the Yeti.
That's a Pearl
Finally get a
Rod
peek
proc.
of... yeah. Getting a peek of lore on Fly Eagles Fly's screen. I don't think we've seen a lot of lore thus far.
No.
There was, in fact, Blowfish, though at this point, Blowfish is kind of past its usefulness.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better earlier in the race, though.
Yeah, but there's Guardian down for Kiggless. So a potentially tricky boss down. Also learns Fire 3, though who needs Fire 3 when you have a Fire Immune party and the Merton spell? And now has a 6th party member as well.
Gonna do the peak of the realm check here at the Esper Cave.
Very smart, knowing where to go next. You know, a peekable check at this point, very useful because Kiggless is not looking for characters anymore. Just needs 4 more Espers to hit the requirements. Picks up a nice Genji glove along the way.
That is
it is
some
not a
merchant.
character.
Yeah. Well, if getting Esper here, I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, you don't have any major, like, multiple checks here. Except for maybe Yeti, if you want to go up the Narsh Mountain. I mean, we might just go to Narsh, so we could just do Terra's check, Yeti's check, Tritot's check. Even could do Kefka's
Yeah, there are a few
check
more
over there.
of Sabin's checks as well. You've got Mount Colts. You've got the Imperial Camp.
I'm just thinking what's there just grouped together. Like, you just go to Narsh, you could do like 3 or 4 checks when you just go just the area of Narsh on the map, you know? And the one's World Bounds, one's World Ruin, but I mean, you could finish this off by just going to Narsh. But he doesn't have
That's
luck,
true.
though.
It'll be interesting to see where Kiggless goes next. Obviously not going to have any trouble with number 24, a.k.a. Minimaster. And looks like Fly Eagles Fly is going to take a ride on the minecart.
So, Kiglas never did the Veldet check, which was lock. Not that he really needs it now, but... Oh, unicorn.
Another Esper. An excellent find. But yeah, never did any of Gao's checks. Of course, we know that the Serpent Trench is an Esper. So Kiggless would obviously be very happy to find that.
Empty Esper, unfortunately. Well, I mean, it had an antidote. I mean...
Yeah, not gonna blow your socks off.
No. Well, Fire 2 will definitely work on this bugging fixation.
Yeah, and if you saw, Kiggless is decking out Celis, slapping on the Genji glove and double Ragnaroks, so she will have excellent offense as well as excellent evasion. Because Ragnarok and even more so Illumina not only are incredibly powerful offensive swords, but are incredibly powerful defensive items for all the evasion they provide.
Vanilla fight for Eagles.
Oh yeah, some mag rotors. Are they mag because they're magnetic?
I think they're magic rollers.
Oh, I guess they could be magic. Or
Like
magic
Magitech. Yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, looks like Kiglis is following your advice and is heading to Narsh to knock out a few of the Narsh checks.
I mean, it's just a good concentration of things, because, like Sabins is kind of all over the place for the rest of it. Gao, you'd have to do Serpent's Trench, which at this point you don't want to do. You've already done Celestis checks. Realms of the Ozer's Mansion, again, more fights you don't really want to do. That is the best pathing for Kiglis to do, is just go up to Narsh and just work your way through these checks. And you can actually sneak a dragon in if you want to do the Imaro's check after this Terra one. Don't know if I would do Kefka at Narsh, though, as we find a Strago behind the Yetis, so we know not to jump down the pit.
Yeah, Kiglis not interested in adding Strago to the party at this point. Fly Eagles Fly, meanwhile... Uh-oh. We've got two spicy bosses on screen, but one is the spiciest of chickens. This is our first statue boss. This is Poltergeist.
Yeah, I don't think Merton's going to work on this one.
No, indeed. Do not use fire spells on the fire statue.
But we do have ice shields.
Fly Eagles Fly taking care of Inferno, who can be an occasionally tricky boss. But, yeah, the spicy chicken, no joke, tosses out... Well, I guess... It's not going to be too dangerous because Kiglis' entire party is immune to fire.
Yeah, that's true, but we still have the Stop Blaster that spicy chickens can still do, so we got to be careful of that.
That is very true. Also, I do feel like it is my duty to point out the common misconception. Poltergeist is not weak to ice. He is the fire boss, but is in fact weak to poison. Though, obviously, ice spells do some damage, but not as much damage as this dual Ragnarok-wielding Celos is going to do.
Yep. Well...
Well, flare procs don't hurt.
That's another Magicite for Eagles. Phantom. And it's hiding in the Hydenites.
Everyone's favorite American bandstand, swing band, hiding in the Hydenites. So, Fly Eagles Fly, still at 5 characters. Obviously very happy to find the Esper, and of course very happy to find an undead boss, who is so easily manageable in these MFT flag sets. And Kiglis does take down the spicy chicken. That is a statue boss down. Always a load off your chest to get rid of a statue boss. You don't want to encounter those endgame bosses in Kefka's Tower when you don't have a full party. Sometimes bad things can happen. And it is a dead check.
Oh, that's disappointing.
So, a Valiant Knife. Yeah.
Well, we have Lock. Oh, we don't have Lock. Kiglis does not have Lock in the group. My bad.
Kiglis does not have Lock.
But, ooh, Sabin can weld it.
Can't equip it. No offering to really supercharge the Valiant Knife, but Valiant Knife is an extremely powerful and useful weapon, so nice to have, but not as nice as the Espers that Kiglis is so desperately looking for. Meanwhile, is Fly Eagles Fly making a Elite River play?
Yeah, I would definitely do Phoenix Cave before I even did this. We still got Phoenix. He still has Phoenix Cave on the board as a check that they could do. I would definitely do that before doing Elite River.
That is true, as the Kefka at Narsh check is not a character, so Kiglis going to go for that.
Oh, Realm getting substituted in for the Yeti now. Kind of a late substitution. I guess finding Merton, I guess they just wants to get her on board now, maybe.
Yeah, if you're going to rely on Merton strats, why not bring in the character with the highest base magic power in the game?
Yeah, but Merton's not going to get you all the way across the line, though. You still need other things like the Valiant Knife and the Celeste with the double Ragnarok to get through, like, Girl and such. So.
That is a good point. But, yeah, it looks like Kiglis is making the call. Umaro is out. Fly Eagles Fly is making the call. Taking a rafting trip down the white water of the Leet River.
He does have, Kiglis does have a plus 50% HP Esper. I would slap down on Sabin right now to get that HP up. If he's really going to weld that Valiant Knife.
Yeah, obviously, more HP the better. Meanwhile, Fly Eagles Fly doing it for the fans, doing the Leet River, running into a Mad Oscar, which can be scary. But Eagles has the firepower to take care of that, and of course will reap the experience rewards from all these random encounters. But this is, if not the slowest check in the game, definitely one of them. Also, shout out to Kiglis making the soldier skip at Kefgate Narsh. Love to see that. I think it showcases how far Kiglis has come as a runner here in the Moogle's first tournament.
Not bad, and we're going to see the Kefka bus fight. It is Poombaba.
Poombaba.
Big old slab of HP.
Poombaba. Yeah. Big boy who always skips leg day.
I don't think Merton works on him, does it?
Casts bolts, absorbs lightning. So, yeah, Merton should work.
Should work.
But of course, dual Ragnaroks also work, and they are doing work, especially with the flare proc. That is all told over 10,000 damage from Celis there.
Does Fly Eagles Fly have a third Ragnarok?
I don't know. Has at least two.
I saw 3 big swords getting swung, so...
Well, maybe he'll do some inventory management and we can get a peek. Obviously, more Ragnaroks is better. As Funbaba goes down to the might of dual Ragnarok wielding Celis.
Pretty good. And she learns a new dance in the snow as we reveal a dead check. Well, I guess my suggestion was out the window. Why'd you listen to me, huh? Why'd you have to listen to me?
That's tough for Kigs. Dual dead checks in Narsh. And of course has to make the long walk back down the cliffs. Cannot warp out of World of Balance Narsh.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, personally, again, that was the right call. It just stinks that it was a double dead check, though.
These things happen. Meanwhile, a rare one-sided tentacle fight as 4 moist tentacles reach out of the water of the Leet River.
It's just Ultra, but his tentacles, not his face.
But as we see, yeah, Fly Eagles Fly with the firepower take down these river noodles.
Man, Yamaro's just getting poisoned. God.
Leave the Yeti alone.
Every time I look, he's either poisoned or turned into stone, one or the other. Must be having bad meat and overwork his abs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but the noodles go down. Fly Eagles Fly is through Leet River. It is a dead check. That is always a gut punch.
I mean, Ice Shield helps with the Merton strats, which he's not using yet, but, oh, man.
Yeah, that's
rough.
No way around it.
Well, it also throws up my
experience and the levels. And Fly Eagles Fly also about to find the double disappointment of Narsh if he continues down that road. Meanwhile, Kiglis climbing up Mount Colts to see what lies at the end of that.
Don't adjust your monitors. That's just Kiglis's Yamaru being poisoned.
The Poison Walk. He's going to crack this monster in a box.
Aww. Just Lobo.
It is Vanilla Lobo.
Ooh, Maze hat. Okay.
Nice stats on that. And it is mysteriously cheap, suspiciously cheap, I think. The Magus hats. They're like 500 gold. Meanwhile,
Oh,
Kigla's
man.
trying to collect the whole set. This is the third Ultros encounter. Looks like Ultros 4?
That needs to be a objective, like hit all 4 Ultroses and you get a special prize for it.
I've always thought that. I think it's sometimes, you know, for community races, we'll do dragon hunts. I've always wanted to see an Ultros hunt. Can you collect all 4 Ultros fights?
And make that Kefka? Make that the Kefka unlock? Yes, you have to get the Ultros, what's that called? Exodia, in order to unlock Kefka's tower.
Anyway, at this stage of the game, Ultros is no sweat for Kiglas, who is through. Still trying to find those last few Espers.
Another dead check. My God.
We have been in a serious drought these last few minutes, and the last 5 combined checks have all been dead.
Okay, I need to pull out my handy dandy tracker now to see what we're doing now, because this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, Kiglas might have to get a 7th character. I mean, we're not at that point quite yet, but running a little low on checks. Looks like we're heading into Bowser's Mansion in ruined Jador, which is a pretty efficient check. Does have 2 fixed encounters to take care of.
Oh, we haven't done a camp, have we?
What's that?
We haven't done camp, have we? The trooper, the camp outside of Science.
Oh, the Imperial Camp. No,
Imperial
Kiglas is not
Camp yet.
headed to the Imperial Camp yet. Also is not headed to ruined Mobliz for another Terra check. So there are some options.
Okay, so we have Ozer's Mansion, which is what Kiglas is doing now. We haven't done Imperial Camp. We haven't done Terra's Mobliz check with Pumbaba yet. We haven't done Phoenix Cave. We haven't done Weapon Shop. And that is actually it.
And we
have done Tri-Touch and Yamaro. But we know Yamaro is Strago.
Right. Kiglas just smoke bombing out of that encounter, going for speed at this point. Doesn't feel like they need the experience. Going in the correct door. Again, game knowledge at work. Love to see it. It is an imp painting, so will not be a character as Flagel's Fly takes down Spicy Chicken. Shout out to that successful boss fight, as it is the Flame Eater.
Well, Flagel's Fly does have lock on the team, so that's going to be an easy slap on Valiant Knight for them. Is unfortunately, for our knowledge, is going to do the Kefka and Nars check, which we know is a dead check. It's going to be another Ice Shield, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
But okay, so Kiglas hasn't found Lock, and Flagel's Fly hasn't found Sabin yet. So each of them are going to be going either to the Valdette or Sabin, Zozo's Tower.
Yeah, Flagel's Fly still with a few more Terra checks to work through. As he said, hasn't done Zozo, hasn't done... Oh, neither of our runners have done Mobliz. No one has done Omaru's checks.
Ooh, Golem.
The Golem Esper, a very, very useful Esper.
Very welcome find, too. Yeah, haste too.
I have to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen anyone cast Haste 2 in a Worlds Collide race.
I did it last night. Sorry. Speaking of shoutouts, let's give a shout out to our resident professional tracker, Ceiling Cat, who's lurking in the background. Always does a great job with the spreadsheet and the on-screen tracking and scoreboards.
Absolutely, Ceiling Cat, our tremendous tracker, and shout out to you, Saberwolf, pulling double duty this evening as a commentator and as the restreamer, doing great work, the hard work to make this happen.
Oh yeah,
and shout out to our runners as well, Kigless and Eagles Fly 72, putting on a great show for us this evening. As you see their Twitch handles in chat, give them a follow if you're so inclined.
Ooh, Eagles missing the pass-through. Is going to have to do the extra 3 or 4 fights here.
That's always tough. Kigless making the being a smart shopper, heading to Balanced Sen to pick up the Esper from the Thief. It is much less expensive in Balance than in the World of Ruin in this particular seed.
Okay, so they're sitting on the hill right now. I'm looking at their tracker right now. He did not do Magitech Facility 3, which would have been his 9th Esper. He noped out of that.
It's true.
Dang. I don't know where to go for him.
Well, Moogle
is going to peek this, yeah.
Which is nice. And then there's always the auction house. I mean, I personally am not a fan of the auction house just because it's so frustrating to keep getting the wrong things. Oh, you're not going to take Mog away, are you? No, little girl. I think Mog is staying with you.
No, Mog's going to keep making babies, apparently. Wait. Who can resist the Moogle? Nobody can resist the Moogle, especially in the Moogle's first tournament.
Yeah, you wouldn't take Mog away in Mog's first tournament, would you?
Not the mascot. Golly. Oh, World of Ruin. So it looks like we're going to find a Tritouch check here. We know that Strugo is behind Yamaro, and we definitely don't want any part of their checks.
Yeah, but Tritalk is available. Also has the option of taking on a dragon to supercharge the levels.
Yeah, this is a good play here. I mean, even if you don't get even if this Tritouch check is dead, I mean, you can still get some progression of leveling and stuff off the dragon, so there's not too much of a downside here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a good play.
Coming up on 1 hour into the race, I want to remind everybody, if you could run your own seeds and flags and create your own sets and everything, you head over to ff6wc.com, and you can also find a link there to our Discord. Ask a question if you want to learn more. Don't be afraid. Somebody will always be there to help you out.
Yes, indeed. A very, very friendly community, very welcoming community.
Oh,
and it must be said, an incredibly modular randomizer, the Worlds Collide randomizer. You can do so many things with this this very fun randomizer. Really make the seed you want to see. Not to mention the wealth of sprites and palettes to customize your characters. Such a fun randomizer for such a fun game.
Celeste giving the Red Dragon the cold shoulder here up in the snowy mountains of Narsh. See if we get any good items off this. Scimitar and offering. There's the offering for the Valiant Knife.
That is a very, very welcome find for Kigless to pair with the Valiant Knife. Suddenly turns Sabin into one of the most powerful members of the party.
Not equipping it, though.
No, heading straight to the Tritalk spot.
They're in the zone.
Well, you know, the hardest boss of Worlds Collide is the menu boss. The less time you spend in the menu, the better. And Welk is not going to put up much of a challenge.
Yeah, speaking of hard bosses, nope, this is the easiest boss.
Well, unless you count Leader as a boss, which I don't.
Yeah, true. Looks like Flago's Fire is going to follow right behind Kiglas, but is going to have the option of doing the lock weapon shop check on the way. So this is an extra little possible Esper here. No,
Yeah,
another
well,
dead chick with more snow mufflers. That's what we want to see.
Snow Muffler Genji glove. Yeah, gotta go with the glove on that
Hey!
one. But yeah, a dead check.
We got our Esper.
All right, that is 6 and 9 for Kiglas, and that is go mode. Final Kefka is unlocked. Kefka's scared, can't believe it, because he knows what's coming. Kiglas is coming with dual Ragnaroks, with Valiant Knife offering, with Merton strats at the ready, and I think has everything you could want to take on the final dungeon of this game.
But is going to go over to the Opera House Dragon real quick. On that note.
Well, why not?
Grab some more levels.
Really lock it in.
Well, we did find the offering with the Valiant Knife now, so we do want a little bit more HP and some levels on Sabin to create that more of a gap there for the percentage damage of HP lost.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fly Eagles Fly skipping the dragon, going straight to Tritok. I guess really focused on getting checks done. Doesn't want to be distracted by dragon fights.
Well, I mean, you know Strago is behind Yamaro, although he is looking for a 6th character, come to think of it. You want to do this check first, get the Esper, then do the dragon fight in case it's a good spell set on there to actually learn all the spells you want to do, and that's a very quick Welk fight.
Yeah. High Welk by Welk, as Kiglas runs into a spoonful of vanilla dirt with the Dirt Durgan. And yeah, high Durgan by Durgan. So that will be a nice infusion of experience for Kiglas' party.
Ghost Rider 2099, welcome to the chat, first timer.
Nice, welcome.
Genji glove. Like we needed it.
Is that the third Genji?
It's like the 4th or 5th, yeah.
Yeah, no, the seed has been lousy with gloves.
Ooh,
not enough weapons to make use of it.
Random chest check for Eagles finding the Mega Elixir. Hello.
Love to see it. Always such a load off to have a Mega Elixir in your inventory for the final battle.
That's going to be a KT entry for Kiglas at 104.52.
Nice. Will be interesting to see how he splits up his party.
As we find a very heavy stepping Strago coming out here.
So many tactical considerations when taking on the final battle. But yeah, we've got the Chad Arnook.
Chad Arnock? Chad Arbuckle? Garfield? Huh? What?
Chad Arbuckle. Chad Arnook, of course, one of those bosses, more annoying than difficult. Have to wait for the demon form. One of the many quality of life improvements Worlds Collide made is making Chad Arnook go to demon form much faster and much more often. Also, love to see Umaro still doing work in Fly Eagle Fly's party here, an hour and 5 minutes in.
Ian said that, oh, never mind. Celeste is a Moogle. Never mind.
The Moogle suit, it's tricky.
Yeah, it is.
I find sometimes, even when I'm playing the game and one of my characters is wearing the Moogle suit, you know, I'll be like, who is that? When did I find Mog?
Kiglas is one of her carries, I guess, is going to be Celeste going the solo route on the right. It's going to be met with, oh, Doom Gaze. You do not want to see
Level
this
check.
one.
All right, passes the level check. Does have the dual Ragnaroks doing great work. Does have to watch out for Doom Gaze's Doom spells.
Yeah, just straight up Doom.
Role
Yeah.
in this is going to be hanging around to Phoenix. I don't think that 25 damage is going to do it, buddy.
And I don't think it's going to survive that Blizzard spell.
And this is a race for Kiglis. Doomgaze has a ton of hit points, and at any point might just cast Doom and end this fight. Kiglis has to hope that this dual-wielding Celis can get it done.
Oh, there's the Doom!
Comes down. The miss!
The proc!
The miss, the proc, the damage.
The old man joined the group on
It's
Eagle's
all
screen.
happening. The Strago.
The natural steel,
The
natural magic.
Strago. Doomgaze down. All right. So Kiglis
Yay!
gets through that fight, which could have been scary.
Didn't save afterwards, though. I would have saved after a Doomgaze fight.
Just charging ahead.
Oh, apparently, the Crusader, I think it was, has stop spells. That'll be helpful for later on. So we got mute, we got stop, we have. Did we find any? We found Doom, right? We found Doom spells. Possibly.
I'm not sure.
Or X zones.
I think there was some X zone.
Okay, so and we also have Fenrir, Golem, Unicorn. So we have all the tools you really need for Kefka's tower fight here. Oh,
Fly goes
Eagles
fly,
fly.
making the,
Yeah.
Auction house play. At 6 and 7, 2 Espers in the house could do it for him.
We are going to switch over to Kiglis's audio because he is in the tower. So. A flail.
Yeah, for sure. Must be said. Kiglis with a big lead at the moment. Fly Eagles Fly really gotta hope the auction house is kind. It so often is not. But if he can find 2 quick Espers in here, he can catch up. Obviously has the levels, has the power to take on the tower. Just needs those final 2 pieces of magicite.
Yeah, that winning a flail kind of like rhymes with fail, so that was kind of mean.
Well, at least you get it out of the pool.
That's very true. Very true indeed.
Meanwhile, Kiglis is working through the 3 switches, going to push some 4-ton weights around like they're nothing. And it will be exciting to see who the final 4 bosses of this seed are. There's still a few meanies left in the pool.
Yep, haven't seen Goddess, haven't seen Magimaster, haven't seen Doom.
And on the flip side, haven't seen the 4th Ultros yet. Can
yeah.
Kiglis collect all of the Ultros Infinity Stones? Fly Goes Fly does find an Esper. Very nice to see that.
Switch 11050. That was about a 6-minute climb for them. Going into another fight. The Guardian fight is... Ooh, it's Toilet Atma.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, second Esper.
Fly Goes Fly finding us nice, and it's Siren as
it's
well.
Siren even. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah. Of course, already has the mute spell, but a very nice find nonetheless. We'll be very, very happy to find that.
Ooh.
As Cells is getting... That hurts.
Landslide doesn't bring her down. Wow. Sketch Atma and you get hit? Really? Woo!
That's disappointing.
Ragnarok's doing work. 7k a hit. Nice.
Yeah, no, Zealous is decked out on Kiglis' screen. The dual Ragnaroks, levels somewhere in the 40s. Yeah, as we see, doing big numbers. But Fly Goes Fly has unlocked KT. There's our clown. We're coming to take him down. But Kiglis definitely has a head start on that front. Checking the validation chest. Love to see that. Appreciate you validating your seed, Kiglis. And it's Narappa the Rappa.
Where are they going? Oh, they're beep, beep, beep. Back of the truck up. All the way to the tower. Okay.
Yep.
112.37. So they are 5 minutes behind? No, sorry, more than that. More than that.
Around 7 minutes, I think.
8 minutes behind. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, so definitely some ground to make up, but of course, as we all know, anything can happen in the final battle. It is a 4-tier mega battle with many points where things can go wrong. And when things go wrong in the final battle, sometimes they go very wrong very quickly. So we will get to see here in the endgame how both our runners navigate the very tricky and very knowledge-intensive final battle. These runners in the Moogle's first tournament are going to showcase what they have learned thus far in the MFT.
Matthias1342, welcome, first time chatter. I'll have to look that one up about the mage killer properties. I don't think so, but
I don't think Final Fantasy VI has a mage killer property.
No, well, it has
think,
it does have a Manhunter, which has human killer properties. Oh, we find a dragon horn to go with the dragon boots we found all over the place. Kind of late though.
A little late to put together a Dragoon build, yeah. But yeah, for those who are perhaps more familiar with Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy V, there are fewer, categories of enemies. So there aren't really mage enemies. There are undead enemies, there are human enemies, and there are enemies that absorb or are weak to particular elements. But I don't think there is a mage killer property in particular in FF6. Fly Goes Fly having to take a reset to that Doomgaze fight because, yikes, Terra at level 40 is a multiple of 5 and got slapped by the level 5 Doom attack. So unless she can equip a safety bit, is going to have to, I guess, take a random encounter to level her up so she's not a multiple of 5. Running into some Chicken Lips, one of the weirder enemies in a game that, it must be said, is full of weird enemies. And, oh my goddess, it's a goddess.
Oh,
and a vanilla goddess at that.
Vanilla goddess, okay.
Kigla sticking with magical attacks. Does have that Valiant Knife and Offering, is choosing to go the magic route. Unfortunately, Goddess has extremely high magical defense.
Yeah, that's
so it might take a minute to chew through all of her hit points.
Okay, now after taking some damage, let's see if they'll use the Valiant Knife now. Oh, let's take it to the fire.
Yeah, well, if you're casting magic and you're not using the fight command, you can't be love tokened, so that's nice. So Kigla is perhaps playing it safe. Is going to want to heal up the party if they keep taking hits from Goddess.
I believe offering gets
Meanwhile,
around
yes.
that.
That is true. Using the fight command with the offering does not trigger the love token counterattack, but now is on a timer. Has 40 seconds until Sabin is zombified. Realm, meanwhile, showing off the memento ring that she comes pre-equipped with, so is immune to attacks that count as instant death attacks, which Overcast apparently does. But yeah, as we see on Kigulus' screen, with the extremely high magical defense Goddess has, even these Fire 3 spells not doing a ton of work. Fly Eagles Fly, meanwhile, back for another encounter with Doomgaze. Has leveled up Terra, is not a multiple of 5. Also has a Ragnarok to swing. As Realm goes down, Kigulus in a bit of trouble here. Sabin is on a clock. Realm is back up, but at very low HP.
And back down again.
Clearly is, yeah. This is looking grim. Has no way to mitigate that lightning damage. We haven't found any thunder shields or anything like that, so...
Speaking of grim, we have a Yeti constantly healing Doomgaze with his Blizzard Orb.
Oh no.
So prolonging this fight as well.
Yeah, credit to Fly Eagles Fly for taking the Yeti with him the whole stretch of the way. There is a certain point where you have to weigh the pros and cons of the Blizzard Orb. But that is a conversation for another day, because Fly Eagles Fly is through, Doomgaze is down to a very powerful Fire 3 spell from Terra, and that is a
Oh, and I think this is
huge
going to reset
obstacle
for
surmounted.
Kiglalis right here. Yep.
Meanwhile, that is it. Kigulus is annihilated by Goddess. Such a tricky boss fight. Easily one of the hardest fights in the game. Almost really at any point you encounter her. And Kigulus, seeing that firsthand, going to have to reset and...
Also, I want to see off this
reconfigure.
reset. I want to see off this reset that he splits his party into second and third positions to split them on either side of Goddess, because that would also be helpful in this fight as well.
That is true. Yeah, Goddess is... in Vanilla is a what's the opposite of a pincer attack? But yeah, if you put your party members in the correct positions, you'll have one on either side, meaning she can only really hit one of them at a time. Would also love to see Kigulus make use of that offering, but is not interested in Valiant Knife offering combos. Instead is slapping a safety bit on Sabin to avoid the overcast.
Yeah, and also didn't split the party either.
Yeah, it's just going to continue with magic power. And obviously with Realm in the party, definitely has some magic power at their disposal. But this is still not going to be an easy fight, and it's not going to be a particularly quick fight either.
No, this is going to take a bit. But again, Fly Eagles 5, starting 8 minutes behind here, does have a chance to catch up now, depending on how they handle this fight.
Absolutely.
Now,
yeah,
this
is
the...
have that speed bump of the Doomgaze death. Had to grind a little bit.
So this would be group number 2 here for this fight. So there'll be Terra will be facing off with this fight. No, it will be Celeste. So his Celeste will be facing off in this Goddess fight. So it might be at an advantage here because of that.
That is true. As Chad is pointing out, Goddess has extremely high magical defense, but is fairly weak to physical attacks. So, yeah, swinging those Ragnarok swords can definitely put a dent in her pretty quickly.
Yeah, and not using this VK is also wearing Kiggles down here a little bit.
Yeah, but as long as Kiglis has ethers, this is a winnable fight. I mean, the safety bits and memento rings will avoid overcast, so there's no timer on the fight. Obviously has the curative magics to stay up, has the Merton and Fire 3 firepower to dish out. Just has to avoid getting, one hit KO'd, which Kiglis definitely has the health for, and that is Goddess down. So that is a second statue boss down. A very, very tricky fight. So good job for Kiglis getting that done.
Well, I don't know how, but Eagles has lost time. They've lost. They're down 12 minutes now. As they face off with their first
time with Doomgaze. Had to level up Terra.
Right.
Had to take a few random encounters with that. Fly Eagles Fly about to learn that Atma absorbs Pearl. Atma, the toilet Atma, as we affectionately call him, absorbs all elements except for the big three. So it's kind of tricky because most elemental attacks are fire or ice or thunder. And those all work on Atma, but all of the other ones, wind, water, pearl, are absorbed. And unfortunately that includes Merton, because Merton is a fire and wind attack. And in FF6, if any element is absorbed or negated, the entire attack is absorbed or negated. But Fly Eagles Fly has figured that out and is dealing with the encounter fairly well. Meanwhile, Kiglis is about to take on the final battle. There is the perfidious clown, Kefka himself. And it will be very exciting to see how Kiglis works through the very difficult, very lengthy, very complex final battle.
Well, we have the right tools for it, as long as we quit the espers for it and learn some of the X zones and mutes and stuff. So right now we're going to see an X zone or a shoat or break. Break will work too on the long arm, turning it to stone.
Yes, indeed.
Boom. There we go. And we got the Fire 3 for the head.
Third of this fight down. We deal with Face next, who is weak to fire. So Realm, the magical murder child, doing big numbers with those Fire 3 spells. Sabin doing a little less, but doing respectable numbers.
Now Merton will work here. Merton will do more damage to the head than the fists there. But you do still run the risk of killing the fist first, so it's kind of a personal preference thing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Pulling out Golem early on, very smart to deal with the physical attacks of Tier 1, who is primarily a physical attacker. And in this particular flag set, the Moogle's first tournament flag set, you can summon espers as many times as you want. So why not make use of that? Very smart play by Kiglis, who is having a very smooth run through Tier 1 of the final battle.
Yeah, there's the damage blocking right there from Fist counters with those hard physical damaging attacks. And that's into Tier 1, moving on to Tier 2.
All right. Tier 2, arguably the most complex of the 4 tiers. It has a few moving parts to it. It has 4 enemies, one of which is vulnerable to instant death, one of which is vulnerable to mute, and 2 of which you just have to deal with the old-fashioned way. I often find when things go wrong in the final battle, they often go wrong in Tier 2, as poor Realm immediately gets imped
That imp opener every time. But we do have Tiger, who's weak to ice on the bottom there, and hits is also weak to stop. So we can actually
Really?
stop them from progressing or hitting us throughout the whole thing too. So really, you can mute magic, auto kill machine, stop Bluey. So the only thing that's going to hit you is really Tiger, who's weak to ice. So once you kill Tiger, the rest of this fight is pretty easy.
I had no idea. Today I learned.
You still have to
Sorry,
reapply stop though,
Yes.
because stop does wear off after a while though. So
Sure. But clearly, Kiglis knows what's up in Tier 2, as we saw the X Zone to take care of Machine, the Mute on Magic, Northern Cross coming out with my favorite line. Oh, no one got frozen, so we didn't get to say you'd best be frozen.
Shout out to Bacon 1207, first time chat. Welcome.
Right on. Welcome indeed, and welcome to a very exciting conclusion. Well, not quite conclusion, but we are definitely in the end game as Fenrir comes out for Kiglis.
By the way, on the other side of the screen, Strago, 35 HP left, getting through Air Boss by themselves.
Oh, Strago!
Whew.
Strago the hero! Let the old man work.
Kersley saying that was a clutch tri-touch cast there out of the old man.
Yeah. You know, he's a mage warrior from a long line of mage warriors. He's got stuff going on. He knows what's up.
Now we do have the Fenrir Esper online, so 10 hits is just going to whiff all these attacks to the whole party.
Yeah, then it's just the muted magic to take care of, which will go down pretty quickly to dual Ragnarok Celes here.
Now at this stage, because you have a muted target who's not really going to do anything, this is where you want to heal up, get your magic points up again, and get ready for the second half of the series of Kefka fights here. Yeah, double proc, double rainbow there.
All across the sky, yes indeed. Yeah, this is the moment to catch your breath.
And speaking of the moment, here comes Eagles Fly Goddess fight. They have the party split, so that's going to be helpful.
Ah, yes indeed, as we see, one on each side. Control Sketch Gal continuing to do control sketch things, which is not much. Fly Eagles Fly about to learn that Goddess absorbs the Pearl element.
Yeah.
And Kiglis is up to Tier 3 to take on Sleep and Lady. And if things don't go wrong in Tier 2, sometimes they go wrong here.
Oh, no.
What's that?
Well, Gao was going to use the Fire Rod, and because he selected it, that use of the item pool's gone, so he lost a Fire Rod for no reason now.
Oof.
Celeste with a single Ragnarok swing, so it's definitely going to do more damage with that than Fire 3. I guess he's just comparing damage. Ragnarok's definitely going to do more damage. Ooh.
Yeah, Fly Eagles Fly does not have an offering, though, so is vulnerable to a love token attack. Looks like might just crack a shield, which is often what you have to do when your back's up against the wall. It's going to be a very difficult fight for Fly Eagles Fly. Kiglis, meanwhile, dealing with Sleep and Tier 3. Of course, wants to make sure that they have some form of calmness protection from the instant death calmness attack that Sleep will do on death. Fenrir certainly fits the bill. So yes, we sing the Moon Song as Fly Eagles Fly does in fact take a reset from that Goddess fight. Goddess, such a tricky encounter.
Yeah, well, Sleep's about 2 hits away here from going down here.
Yes, indeed. So it is sort of in the danger zone. Doesn't want to get hit by too many Meteo attacks.
Oh,
but in fact does avoid them.
yep, there we are.
And with the image status from Fenrir, avoids the calmness attack, and is heading up to the final tier with a full party, having braved the gauntlet of the first 3 tiers of the Mega Battle. Kylix is ascending to the clouds to take on the Mad Clown, the man who destroyed the world, the final boss of FF6, descending from the heavens. It is indeed Final Kefka.
Now, Kiggles does not have the Mega Elixir that Fly Eagles Fly has, as Cow goes down again trying to cast the Fire Rod. He does have Cure 3, so he has that option to get out of the Fallen One spellcast from Kefka. But we can pretty much just power him down from here, but Realm actually needs to pop an Elixir. Well, want to wait. Don't pass the Elixir now, because you're just going to get all your health back and MP back anyways when you do Fallen Ones, so I would have held off on that.
No, chucking an X-Ether instead.
Yep.
Very smart. Does have a few Elixirs, and of course has Cure 3 to counteract the Fallen One attack. Of course, does have dual Ragnarok Celis, who has continued to put in great work throughout Kefka's Tower. Sabin casting Merton. You don't always see a, mage Sabin in a seed, but Kiklos has definitely made it work. Of course, now's the time to crack those elemental shield.
Cracking that before the proc. Nice. Get a proc off? No proc on this. Oh, but we don't have a shield on Realm. This is going to kill Realm. Oh, 22 HP left. Well, this is going to kill Realm anyways.
Ooh. Yeah, here comes the Goner attack. Definitely one of the coolest looking attacks in the game. Is not necessarily the most dangerous, but will do enough to take down Realm.
Ooh, pretty decent amount for the whole party, too.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, you have Valley Knife on him. Just swing it. Oh. We'll have to ask him after the game.
Bring Realm back up. Curing the party. There is an argument to be made to sort of go all out with offense, but Kiglos is playing it safe. Of course, doesn't know that they are in the lead, but is doing what they can to keep the party up, avoiding the counterattacks. You know, the worst thing you would want at this moment is a counterattack, ultimate attack. Now that Kefka is charging up Goner, counterattacks are disabled. This is when you want to go all out.
Oh, kapow, kapow, right there. Again.
Crack pow, Kefka is down. Kiglas is our winner. Advances in the losers bracket of the Moogle's first tournament with a pretty decent time at that. So GG's to Kiglas. Navigated that final battle about as well as you can want to. And of course, I think maybe the great point of divergence at the very beginning with Fly Eagles Fly following the lock route and Kiglas following the Sabin route kind of meant that our runners were on different tracks throughout the run. Didn't really see a ton of overlap, but we do have our winner in chat with us. Kiglas, GG's, how do you feel about that race?
I feel pretty good. It's about the end of it. Beginning was a little bit rough there.
What's that?
Yeah, beginning was kind of rough where you have a gal that can't really do much of anything and a Yeti, and yeah.
Yeti's fun. It was more with that first battle in the sealed cave where I died there and had to reset and stuff. And just, a couple dead checks, but then once it started going, then it felt pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely had it going. Getting Merton online 32 minutes into the seed?
Yeah, I saw that and I knew I had the pieces. Just like, okay, who could equip all this stuff? And then Realm came and then she couldn't equip the Blizzard Orb, so then I lost it for a sec. So I had to switch gears. But it seemed to work out pretty well.
Yeah, no, it worked out very well, and obviously, congrats on the win. But I'm curious, as you were working through the seed, were there any moments that you felt particularly ahead or behind? You mentioned obviously the sealed cave encounter.
Um, I don't know, I wasn't sure where I was at, but then once I hit Goddess and I died there, then I'm like, well, my opponent's probably going to be having some trouble here too. And then putting that safety bit on was all I needed, and then I got past it.
Indeed, you did. Choosing to forego the option of a Valiant Knife offering combo. Uh, what was your decision making there?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I had the Valiant Knife on completely.
It happens. There's always a lot to take in any Worlds Collide seed.
Yeah.
Congrats on moving ahead. How have you felt about Moogle's first tournament so far?
Well, early on it was a little bit rough, and then after the mentoring, I started to figure it out. Then had that last match, and I got smoked on that. But then I don't know, seemed to be kind of getting it back again. I guess had a pretty good flow today.
Yeah, well, you're still alive and moving on in the losers bracket. So yeah, still more MFT to come. Obviously, you've been doing your homework. It was kind of a textbook final battle there, making all the right moves. Have you been putting in a lot of practice?
Not a heck of a lot, because I've been doing some Zelda 1 randomizer stuff, and also this, an Ultros League. So doing Ultros League, I kind of switched gears and, lost a step a little bit, at least with, like I said, that first match in the brackets. But, actually had more time to think about stuff today, and feel like I was a lot better prepared today than I was for that first one.
Next round, you're going to be facing Infinius or Putski, the loser of that match. Have you played either one of them throughout the series?
I have not. I'm not familiar with either of those racers.
All right, well, we're expecting a big surprise then for next week for you.
I may have to watch some of their previous runs, see how they did on things.
Well, do you have any final thoughts or things to add before we let you go?
Just thanks for the restream, and GG to my opponent once he finishes.
Excellent. Well, yeah, GG's once again. Congrats on winning the race. Congrats on moving on in the MFT. And obviously we'll see more of your races going forward.
While we were chatting with Kiggles there on Tier 1 for Eagles, unfortunately leaving the head up last, got earthquaked, which knocked a lock out of the party. Replaced by Strago here for Tier 2.
Yikes. And we see pulling out Blowfish as well, which, as we mentioned, is such a useful early game ability, and is not quite cutting it here that so many other attacks are doing multiple thousands of damage. Doesn't quite have the, super built up Cellas that Kiggles was playing with. Does have Umara though, so shout out to the Yeti. We'll see how Fly Eagles Fly can navigate the always tricky final battle. Stealing an elixir ain't bad.
Not bad at all.
It is good to know that hit can be stopped. I didn't know that, so I'll have to keep that in my back pocket for next seed. As we see, it is Terra swinging the big sword for Fly Eagles Fly. Hit, crocking the 10 hits on death. Obviously has the health to deal with this, though Cells is getting kind of brutalized. And Umaru with some sick defense, taking 0 damage. Must still be wearing the snow muffler. I guess Flagel's Fly choosing to use Strago as a dedicated thief. Doesn't really have the old man built up. Obviously, was not expecting to lose Locke in the first tier. We'll have to navigate the remainder of this battle with 3 of his preferred party of 4. But does seem to have things in hand here and here too. Always happy to see the Yeti doing work. I guess it's had those Doom Darts for pretty much the whole seed.
Yeah, the Yeti's been Doom throwing those darts a whole race here, and not using the club. And that is the end of Tier 2, moving on to Tier 3.
All right, does Fly Eagles Fly have the calmness protection tools? We know he has them in the inventory. Are they equipped? Will they be deployed in this dangerous Tier 3? Step 1, of course, is to take care of the lady in the back.
Ooh, Wild Wind opener. That's a rough one. It's going to take down the whole party down to very low health. No, ain't no, just Strago.
If it hits. And yeah, if it had to hit anyone, it's probably the old man, who, as we see, has not been contributing too much. Though, you can steal a Ragnarok from sleep.
I thought it was from Girl.
Is it?
That was from Girl.
Yeah.
It's
from one of them.
I think it's from Girl because the Lady of the Lake. That's how I try to remember it.
Okay.
Okay, checking Terra and make sure that she had Ragnarok equipped here. This is Girl's calmness, not Sleep's calmness, so that just puts you to sleep. Oh, Sleep gives you Atma weapon, actually.
An ammo weapon, that's still pretty nice.
Ooh, Merton coming out here. They do not have... Oh, okay, Merton. They got Merton protection. They're good. Got an extra Excalibur in the inventory as well. As switching...
Yeah, looking pretty strong.
Ooh. Wow, Terra switching over to the Atma weapon, doing even more damage with that.
I think that's a smart play. I think with the levels that Fly Eagles Fly has, you know, why not switch to a weapon that
Wake up,
relies
Sluss.
so heavily on levels? And yes, it seems to be working. Of course, now obviously you would love to equip that unused Ragnarok on Umaru, but sadly you cannot change Umaru's equipment mid-battle.
Would like to see the protection come out right now, though. And hopefully that was not on lock.
Yeah, it's getting down to it right now. And
Yeah.
There's a few more rounds to go.
Yeah, they're in range now. Actually, no, they're about 2 or 3 hits away here. So I would definitely want to see it coming out now. Especially when you have a Yeti in the group that can proc these very dangerous attacks with Meteo and stuff as the Yeti goes down.
Yikes. Here come the Meteos. Yeah, Sleep is in the danger zone now. We'll be pulling out the very, very deadly Meteo attack. And this is when you want to end the fight as quickly as possible, because these rocks are going to keep falling down.
With a block.
Nice.
Alexander, that's not what you want to see in the Esper that's equipped for your party. So it doesn't look like they have the calmness protection, so they're just going to have to throw a Hail Mary here as the Yeti throws himself at Sleep, proccing yet another Meteo action here. Everybody's still up.
Yeah, it's been pretty lucky with those Meteo dodges thus far.
Oh, but here
Train
comes
out. That's going to put a stop to any magic casting.
Ooh, that might
There's
goes out.
the calmness.
Strago? Only Strago. Only Strago. Okay.
No!
Yeti Eagles
Not the
down.
Yeti!
Well, you know what? If you're going to have two procs, those are the two characters of that grouping that you'd want to have it happen to.
Aww.
I mean, Terra
I-
and Celeste are
I
your best
think-
two characters of this group. You'd want to keep them alive for Kefka.
I know objectively that's true, but I always love seeing Umara making it all the way to the final battle.
9 HP Gao takes the place of Strago as the final survivor of the group.
That useless Gao we've had this whole siege, just can't get rid of him. And here, in Fly Eagle Fly's final battle, the Wild Child is back. Can Terra and Celis get it done against Final Kefka?
Well, Gao would be good for just elixir use right about now, or a Mega Elixir use, really.
Yeah, I mean, Gao can definitely use item. Gao can help to spread out the Goner damage, I suppose. So it'll be hitting 3 targets instead of 2.
Nope. Don't let's do it. Just have Gao do it. Okay.
Mega Elixir comes out, countering the Fallen One.
Ooh, Gao actually has an Ice Shield available. They're going to use it right now
Yeah, I
for
mean...
900 damage. Wow.
A 900 damage? I didn't even know that was possible. That was the
Well,
saddest thing I've ever seen.
It is when you're still level 3 Gao.
Wow. Yeah, Eagles probably wants that one back. But the procs are coming out, the spells are coming out. Terra and Celas are very strong. Yeah.
Overkill.
Gao, sit down.
That what you call that, a broken shield?
Yeah, but looks like we're going to have Celas casting Pearl, Terra swinging
Stop.
the Atma weapon.
Stop. No more
And,
hits. No more hits. Just stop. Wait. Yeah, come on, Kefka. You can do it. Oh, this is a dirty Kefka. Oh, boy.
Yikes. That's a hard hit to Terra. Dropping her from full to dead.
Oh, now we
Here comes
charge
the
up.
end beyond
Oh,
chaos.
come on.
And if Celis is the only one standing, she might not survive this attack. So, yeah, has to Phoenix down someone.
Yeah, she does have, yeah, it's going to be a Terra back down again. I don't know if we have life 2 or 3, do we?
I
No.
thought we saw life 3 somewhere, but no life 2. Luckily, the split damage does mean Celis stays up.
Yeah.
Can pull Terra back up, maybe can get some cures going, can get back in this fight.
Oh my goodness,
But
Kefka.
Havoc Wings. What a rude Kefka.
You know, I know Eagles is not going to advance, but Kefka doesn't have to rub it in with all these Havoc Wings. Oh my... Double Havoc Wing, no!
Whoa! And Fly is annihilated.
No.
Yikes. That was so brutal.
Wow.
You don't often see a Kefka that aggressive. The double Havoc Wing taking down the party.
Oh.
I mean, credit to Fly Eagles Fly, undaunted, just
Yep.
resets and gets back in it and is going to take on the final battle one more time. But to be so close to the finish line and to get slapped down like that is brutal.
After this, we will be probably rating somebody, whoever's available on live still. Oh, well, we have a lot of people live right now. Woo!
Excellent. Love to see it. Well, hopefully Eagles can have a better time in this battle than the last one. Can maybe make it to the end with a full party.
Yeah, I don't know what Locke had on them for a spell here. He had the Cure 3.
What's interesting is the Atma weapon that was doing so much work was stolen from Sleep. So if Locke stays
man.
up, that actually means no Strago, which means no Atma weapon.
Oh, Shockwave comes out too. X-Zone not hitting its mark, unfortunately. Boy, apparently Kefka doesn't want Locke to stay up.
Yeah, his long arm goes down to the X zone. Umaro doing Umaro things.
Yeah, Yeti eating. Oh, but that's going to be a stone Yeti now.
Yikes. Gotta save the Yeti.
Well, looks like Terra's going to. I would like to see these two Ragnarok swingers in the front row because the Ragnarok does not retain its damage from the back row. That's only Illumina.
That is true. But, you know, it's a trade-off of offense or defense. Being in the back row can mitigate a lot of Tier 1's heavy physical damage.
As Terra shows us by example being in the front row.
Yes, indeed. Double flare procs is nice.
What could it mean?
All across the sky.
I want to remind everybody that we have another Moogle's First Tournament race coming up on Thursday at 9 p.m. And before that, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. over on Speed Gamers 4 is the weekly community race. So check that out as well.
Yes, indeed. We are in the thick of things here at Worlds Collide. We are, of course, in the final phase of the MFT, which, of course, saw Kickless just won, moving on to the next round of the losers bracket, but a very extensive tournament reaching its final phase. Of course, there's also the new season of the Ultros League, which has something over 70 or so participants in it, so fun weekly races there. Lots going on here in FF6 Worlds Collide.
And if you want to be part of it, head over to ff6wc.com, make your own seeds and flag sets, and also join our Discord through there and ask any questions you want. You'll definitely be able to get an answer within 5-10 minutes of asking. It's a very populated and active Discord that's willing to help you. It's a great community.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Fly continues to take on the tricky Tier 2 of the final battle. Must be said, have plenty of curative magics in this seed. I think it was the first or second Esper we found had Cure 3 on it. So nice to have that in your toolbox. And of course, nice to have all these Ragnarok swords as well.
Avoid getting frozen again. Yeah.
Another Northern Cross that doesn't freeze anyone. Wish I could be so lucky. But I think the big question for Fly Eagles Fly in this second attempt up the tower, the whatever this thing is that all these creatures are attached to. The big question is how will Tier 3 play out? Calmness can hit once or twice. It is possible to evade it. It is also possible that it will down your two most important party members. And I think that might be the big question on Eagle's mind as he continues working through this final battle.
And hopefully Locke did have that Esper equipped. He was the down party member before then. As hits does go down, so we only have magic left up for them now.
Yeah, Fly Eagle Fly also navigating the final battle pretty well. Obviously knows what needs to be done.
Yeti with the Blizzard Orb, though, doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, that Blizzard Orb has been doing work all seed.
Wow, 3 times in a row.
Yeah, 3,500 damage is not nothing.
Magic's about 1 hit away here from moving on to Tier 3, it looks like. And there we go.
All right, on to Tier 3, which may well be the deciding tier for Fly Eagle Fly's second attempt at this final battle. Obviously has the tools to take down Lady and Sleep. Sadly, will not get to steal that cheeky Atma weapon that we saw earlier. But good to know that there's, in fact, an Atma weapon and a Ragnarok available in this final tier, if you can make the attempt.
No, we do. We have Capture. We have Terra with Capture.
Oh, all right.
So we could still steal it. Yeah, we don't have the Sticky Fingers Strago, though. That is a dead girl. She gets it.
There it is. The cheeky steal on Tier 3. Love to see it.
Blocks the whirlwind, so her health's not going to be reduced, but the Yeti's is. Gonna pop that ammo weapon right on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw
how
effective it was last time.
And a crit and a roll swap too. Combo.
Another question I just thought of. Does Umaro have a desperation attack?
I don't think so. We can double check.
I would guess not, but I honestly have no idea. I just thought when Umaro was in critical condition earlier, if we might see something like that.
Let me see. Nope, he does not. He's the only one that doesn't.
Ah. Ooh, that means Gogo does? Well, I've never seen that.
Yeah, Gogo has a Punishing Meteor, or Ex-Meteor.
That sounds pretty cool. I gotta check that out.
It deals... basically, it's a single meteor strike that deals damage to one target.
Very cool. Here comes Calmness. Blocked by Celis. No!
The Yeti goes down again. But we have Strago back.
Sleep, you're so cruel.
But we have Strago back with Fire 3, though. Not a level 3 Gao who breaks a shield for 400 fucking damage. Pardon my language. Sorry.
I have never seen a shield do that little damage before. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was just a widow buckler. Oh, man. But again, shout
But
out
here
to
comes
Eagles.
once again.
Getting back to the top again.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a second climb up the 4 tiers of the Mega Battle. Presumably already knowing that he is out of the tournament, but putting on a show, doing it for the fans. Also gets bonus points for doing Elite River. Also gets bonus points for having Yeti in the final party. So Fly Eagles Fly, possibly the People's Champion. And can the People's Champ bring it home in this second encounter with Kefka?
Struggle to use the Mega Elixir here. Good proc for... Wait, what? Oh, no!
Yikes. Lock and Sellers had seizure.
Yeah, that's rough. Oh, man. Yeah, the only way to cure that is Regan or just to die. And here comes the Havoc Train again for 7,000 damage to Terra this time.
Unbelievable. This is the cruelest Kefka I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, this is a dirty, dirty Kefka. And we're not even hitting him either. He's just doing it on his own.
Yeah, Eagles has done, I don't think has done any damage as yet. Just trying to get the party back into fighting shape.
Fire 3 coming out from Kefka. My goodness. Okay, now the party's up, so I guess we're off and running here, huh? Not sure what Fader does, though.
Well, it will... I think maybe Fly Eagles Fly has been a little hurt by these Havoc Wings. As we see another one coming out, of course, missing. This Cure 3 sadly will remove invisibility immediately.
And there goes Lockdown. I see you now, Lock.
Well, he does have the option of casting it again. You can cast Espers as much as you want in the MFT flag set.
That is very true.
But at some point, he's going to have to start turning defense into offense.
Okay, 8,000 damage from that weapon will definitely be good offense there.
That's a pretty good start, yeah.
Yep. All right, back in the Fader again.
As you mentioned, yes, Drago does have Fire 3, so he can put in some work. As we see, yeah, Eagles being very, very careful.
Goodness gracious. Oh, you're going to block my hyper? Wait, it's hyperdrive instead.
Hyperdrive.
Yikes.
Yeah, that hurts.
Which reveals Terra on top of that. All right, dump it. Dump the damage. And Terra also...
Oh, no.
Hyperdrive also causing seizures as well is going to knock her out. Let's see how much damage this Goner does here. Oh, man. Fire 3 not coming out in Strago in time here. See who's left standing after this attack.
I think Lock and Sellers for sure can survive this. We'll see how
everybody did.
Old Man does. Yeah, they're all up.
Ooh, but getting a proc off for damage. As looks like the Fader spells has ended here.
Yeah, I think any... And of course, immediately the Havoc Wings back out.
Yep, and ran out of MP for the Cure 3 there, so...
Well, if you can get Terra back up to full health, I think she's going to be the key to actually winning this fight, not just, surviving it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, jeez, but here comes trying to blind her now. And mute the rest of the party. Followed up with a Havoc Wing right afterwards. Goodness gracious, Kefka. Have
And a miss
mercy.
from the darkness. Jeez.
Plenty of echo screens, though.
Yeah, it definitely has the items to take care of this.
Okay, we're in another spike mode now. I
comes
believe
another goner.
Strago does have a shield that we could probably break here. Okay. Pearl
Still
coming
sticking to
from
that
Mog.
Pearl attack.
No, we're not going to fight here because Goner's going to come up before you swing with the Celeste here. Or Terra, sorry. Oh, but that might be... Nope, Goner. Let's hope that was a Kapow. Yeah.
And this will hurt, but I don't think we'll kill anyone.
Nope.
Yeah, so still up. Still missing. Jeez.
Yeah, it's kind of rude.
Has the Cure 3 queued up. Top off the party.
Oh, but Trine comes out again to blind Terra before she can swing the sword.
Yikes. That is, I think, 3 misses in a row. That is a ton of damage that Eagles is not getting in. And, yeah, chat is calling it. This is a rough Kefka fight.
Break your shields now. Come on. Locke's going to get this...
There's the ammo weapon.
Oh, there we go.
There
Kapow,
it is.
Kapow.
Crack pow. Kefka goes down. GG to Fly Eagles Fly. Really showing some great perseverance. Taking that death in the first Kefka fight, climbing all the way back up the tiers just to have another extremely rude Kefka fight. But gets it done with the stolen Atma weapon, no less. So GG's to Eagles, sadly out of the MFT, but definitely a fan favorite, and showed some great gamesmanship in this one.
Yeah, definitely showing good courage. First time on the Restream. Wanted to put up at least put up a time and show that they do not have a quit attitude, you know? No quit attitude for all of us, so kudos to them for that.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we're going to let Eagles cool off after that one. Unfortunately, Kefka was very mean to him at the end of that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that, as you know, and I'm sure chat knows, the Kefka fight can go a lot smoother than that. You don't always see the double Havoc Wings, the hyper drives into your Fader. That was a rough one.
Yeah, that was very rude. Well, we're going to wrap this up here. We're going to remind everybody that of our current brackets. These are the updated brackets for everyone. So Kigless is going to move on to the next round of Losers 2. They will face the losers of Infinius and Putski coming up here later on next week. Also, coming up this Thursday, we're going to have the other losers bracket match. That'll be on October 6th, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the FF6 Worlds Collide Twitch channel. And then later on Saturday, 9 p.m. is going to be that Infinius Putski match. Winner moves on. Loser's going to face Gigless from tonight. And as soon as we know, we'll let you know when Gar and Golden Shocker is going to schedule their fight.
Yes, indeed. Lots of very exciting Moogle's first tournament action coming our way in the coming days. I'll be very exciting to see how this tournament ends up and seeing just how far our first-time racers have progressed in the MFT. It's been very fun to see, and it'll be exciting to see more races.
Well, we can actually preview one of them coming up here. It's Putski's actually doing a Ultras League run right now. Weekly draft. Is weekly draft a spoiler? I can't remember. I think it is actually.
No, I've never done the weekly draft.
Well, we'll do Putski so we can say hi to them. Again, they're going to be running on Saturday for this Moogle's first seed. So we're going to throw it over to them here in a little bit of a raid here in just a second. Any final thoughts on this race? I mean, it was a rough one in the beginning, though.
It was rough. It was, I think, a great example of how Worlds Collide can, giveth and taketh. It was a pretty tricky start. I mean, the control sketch Gao was basically an empty party slot. Not a lot going for the Rounders until they found that early Ragnarok. There were a few rough dead checks in there, but also some Merton strats, some very high-powered towards the end of the seed. I think it was a very fun race. I was very happy to be a part of it, and I want to shout out once again our tremendous tracker Ceiling Cat. And shout out Saberwolf doing the restream and chatting it up with me, and shout out to, of course, Kickless and Fly Eagles Fly 72 for putting on a very fun race, and just lucky to be a part of it.
Yep, definitely. All right, we're going to throw it over to Putski right now. Hope you all enjoyed, and take care, and have a good night.